is ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Ebunlomo Adekunle. In a major story, police nab suspected suicide bomber near Lagos Airport. Also in this program, President Goodluck Jonathan meets security and defense chiefs behind closed door over growing insecurity in the country. Health authorities clear 4 more Ebola patients in Lagos, declare them fit and proper to go home. And outside Nigeria, Ukrainian government accuses pro-Russian rebels of killing fleeing refugees. And now the details. A suspected suicide bomber was arrested by security officials close to the Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Lagos, on Monday. The presence of the young man, who was disabled, threw the airport into confusion as people scampered for safety following the incident. He was arrested for allegedly planning to bomb the Centrex unit of the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency along the Murtala Muhammad International Airport in Lagos. CoreTV News learnt the suspect was arrested by security operatives as he attempted to detonate the explosive device he wore around his body. His movement was said to have attracted the attention of security operatives, who immediately picked him up. The Commissioner of Police, Airport Command, Wahid Salau, declined comment on the development, saying that it would be too premature to talk with journalists at the moment. President Goodluck Jonathan on Monday met with the country's defense and security chiefs at the presidential villa. The meeting was a closed-door session that had all service chiefs and heads of security agencies in attendance. Also at the meeting were the ministers for defense, police affairs, interior and foreign affairs. No statement was issued after the meeting, and none of the security and defense chiefs agreed to speak with the media. Presidency sources say the main agenda of the meeting was the ongoing war against insurgency in the country. The number of persons displaced by insurgency in northeast Nigeria is now more than 600,000. The National Commission for Refugees and Internally Displaced Persons disclosed this at a press briefing ahead of the 2014 World Humanitarian Day celebration. Federal Commissioner Hadiza Hangiwa says efforts are in place to ensure that relief support and other humanitarian services are made available to internally displaced persons.
We are still making efforts to see how we could establish our presence in the field so that we are closer to the people that we are supposed to help. You know, the refugee problem is a problem globally. The IDP phenomenon has increased more than ever in the country. And we do have migration. Migration is an issue. It's an issue that it's evolving more and more. We have people who are forced to migrate. We have people who, are migrating for survival.
Nigeria's health authorities have announced that 4 additional Ebola patients have been cleared to go home from the Lagos Treatment Center. This brings to 5 the number of Ebola-positive Nigerians
for at
that
least
have been
3.
discharged from quarantine. Lagos State Commissioner of Health, Jide Idris, announced that the 4 individuals who were down with the virus disease are now disease-free and have been discharged.
And that's how that last one was discharged. That's why he was discharged. Now we have 4 more today that were ready for discharge based on the same protocol. That is, they've been symptoms-free for at least 3 days, and they've had their blood checked. They have now tested negative for Ebola virus.
Meanwhile, the United Nations has launched a supplementary appeal for $18 million in its fight against the Ebola virus in Sierra Leone. The representative of the United Nations in Sierra Leone, David McLachlan, who addressed a joint press conference with the Sierra Leonean Health Minister, Miata Kabo, and an Ebola survivor, say it is to supplement funds already raised for the fight against the virus in the country.
This morning, the United Nations issued a supplemental emergency response appeal for the Ebola situation in Sierra Leone. The appeal total is $18.13 million.
We need the 18 million funds. We need it to come to address issues like contact tracing, address issues of case management and treatment centers, address issue of food supplement for isolated districts and also quarantine homes. The patient that escaped from Connaught Hospital actually has been identified and captured, and that patient has been conveyed to the treatment center in Kenema. He was Ebola positive.
Striking doctors are seeking the immediate reversal of government's decision to suspend residency training program at federal hospitals as a basis for further negotiation. This was the message national officials of the Nigerian Medical Association delivered to Senate President David Mark at a meeting on Sunday night with a view to convincing them to call off the lingering strike. NMA officials led by Kayode Obembe listed their grievances to include, but not limited to, improved hazard allowance for medical and health workers, about 10 months unpaid arrears, as well as appointment of Surgeon General of the Federation. Mark reminded the striking doctors of their strategic roles in the lives of citizens, saying that they cannot continue to look the other way when Nigerians face health challenges. He was also of the view that the outbreak of Ebola virus disease is enough reason for them to suspend the strike. Mark, however, promised to table their grievances before President Goodluck Jonathan in order to find solutions to them. Both sides agreed to reconvene on Tuesday to report progress on the way out of the logjam. The sack of doctors by the federal government has not ceased to generate reactions. The dismissal was unanimously condemned by resident doctors in Osogbo, the Osun state capital. They also fault the lack of preparedness of government to fight the Ebola virus scourge. Rashid has more.
The situation is bad already as doctors and the federal government engage in an industrial face-off. Then the deadly Ebola virus was imported into the country. Many Nigerians were hoping that the need to give the Ebola virus the much-needed attention it deserves will make the government and the doctors quickly resolve their differences. But the result was contrary as the federal government announced the sack of over 16,000 resident doctors in its employment and the suspension of residency program in all hospitals across the federation. Consultants and resident doctors at Lautech Teaching Hospital Osogbo described the federal government's move as an expensive joke and a grand plot to break the ranks of the medical association.
Strike is being constituted by NMA, and NMA as a body is all doctors. And just picking on the resident doctors, we are more proactive when it comes to decision making, and I think maybe it's just to weaken the strike.
April Fool coming up in August. For a government to wake up overnight and say that is sacking 16,000 out of the workforce of doctors.
The doctors went further to say the government's move has reduced the medical profession to the lowest ebb.
A consultant to see special cases, yes. This is not just about treating people for malaria. It's about when I retire or if I'm incapacitated, who will be there to do that specialist job.
Like somebody waking up and say, okay, I want to stop the law school. Once you graduate as a lawyer, you just go to the field. It's like saying, okay, from recruit upwards in the Nigerian Defense Academy, please, you are stopping there. We are not. So what is the purpose of professionalism?
Suspending residency program and resident doctors, according to these medical practitioners, is not unconnected with the leadership tussle experienced in the NMA and other health unions.
Have a family, you are going to have your wife is a master, the husband is a master, and if you have 3 wives or 4 wives, so that means you have 4 masters, including the husband, making 5 masters. Of course, there will be chaos in that house.
We are not against the fact that we want people to climb up the ladder of their profession. Everybody can get to the peak of their profession. But on the other hand, of people wanting to head facilities where doctors should head, and that's where we frown at.
The doctors are asking for improved condition of service.
Our hazard allowance is as low as 5,000. I know of people who will tell you that, is this Ebola? I will rather resign from this job than go and take up Ebola. The strike was even a blessing in disguise, because by today, we will be counting the number of health workers that would have been lost.
A good nation should prepare ahead. It's not when Ebola is now here, we're now talking, oh, I want to get this kit, I want to get this. No, it should be there. A good government is focused, knows what could happen, what can happen, learn from history of what has happened. But it's a fire brigade approach that we have in this country.
As the struggle rages on between Nigerian doctors and the government, the timely resolution of the dispute will be a great relief for the distressing nation, even now that we have Ebola to contend with. Rashid, CoreTV News, Oshobo.
Nasarawa lawmakers go tough. Excuse me, suspends APC legislators. Find out the details after this timeout. Don't go away.
Nivea Nourishing Body Lotion. Its effective formula with Hydro IQ gives your skin deep and long-lasting nourishment for skin that stays moisturized all day long. Look great, feel great, with deeply nourished skin. Nourishing Body Lotion from Nivea.
Some say it's a sharp pain. Some might even say it's a shocking pain. And it's usually caused by hot, cold drinks. It definitely affects the quality of life. The treatment for tooth sensitivity can be very simple. Brushing with Sensodyne twice daily will give you long-lasting protection from tooth sensitivity. Sensodyne works inside the tooth and it soothes the nerve, and then the patient will have a relief of their pain. Sensodyne can be used every day. You don't have to use another toothpaste. For me to have a toothpaste that solves that problem so simply is what I like about Sensodyne.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Thank you for being there. The Nasarawa State House of Assembly has resolved to petition the National Judicial Council over the role played by the state chief judge in the failed bid to impeach Governor Tanko Almakura. The legislators want the NJC to investigate the activities of the chief judge, Suleiman Diko, and also moved to punish one of their colleagues. The lawmakers, who sat for the first time in Lafayette since the impeachment saga began, accused the chief judge of partisanship and also suspended Tanko Tunga, a member of the assembly elected on the platform of All Progressives Congress.
Right Honorable Speaker, thank you for allowing me to present. We have decided that we should, on the rule of law, make sure we follow the Constitution so that because we have agreed that United the rule of law and due process will follow. And under Part 1, Third Schedule, Section 7, Column 20, the formation of the National Judicial Council, its powers and rule of procedures and business. I honor feel this morning and now to craft the indulgence of this distinguished house to agree with me completely and total that there's need that we should write to the National Judicial Council to investigate the activities of the chief judge of Nasarawa State under the section I've just mentioned, because we discovered a lot of mistakes and lot of lacunas in setting up the panel to investigate the allegation of misconduct of the gross misconduct of the governor during the impeachment saga. If this agree with my distinguished colleagues, without any expediment, without any delay, we should agree in the resolution of the House to make sure we write to the National Judicial Council within 24 hours, so that let them look at the activities of the chief judge of Nasarawa State in order to avoid the breakdown of law and order in Nasarawa State.
Like the mover of the motion, I will therefore is by this pronouncement suspended from the House of Assembly for a period of 6 months and 8 years and a half salary. The House should note that this does not include other allowances of the Honorable Member. This has to do with his statutory salary as enshrined by the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission. All other allowances goes, and I so go.
Determined to have an atmosphere befitting a megacity in Lagos, the state government has amended the law establishing the Urban Renewal Agency. The amendment, according to Governor Babatunde Fashola, will enhance the agency's multidimensional approach towards the state's urban renewal. It stressed that the amendment will also enable the agency to continue the ongoing urban and slum regeneration across the state even after its tenure.
We undertook a collaborative project with the World Bank recently, the Lagos Metropolitan and Urban Development and Governance Project, LMDGP. And like all projects of the World Bank, they have limited lifespans. And that project wound up, I believe, late last year. And so some of its uncompleted work will be part of the work that LASURA will also be undertaking. And that is the justification for the requirement for more multidimensional professional capacity within the agency. So apart from the urban renewal and regeneration essence, they are dependent on proper economics, costing, project design, project planning, and project monitoring. So this law gives us that window now to expand the width of the kind of personnel that we can attract there.
Determined to have a functional railway system for the country, the Subsidy Reinvestment Program, SURE-P, has commenced technician and maintenance training program for the Lagos-Kano rail line. The program, which kicked off in Lagos, will have over 100 technicians trained to adequately maintain a rail track built to improve the transportation system from Lagos to Kano. Oluwaseyi Adegoke has details of this report presented from our studio.
The Subsidy Reinvestment Program SURE-P is designed to bring back to life the Nigerian railway system and other moribund government agencies, ultimately provide employment for the teeming younger generations of Nigerians. SURE-P launched a training program for technicians and maintenance officers who will be in the employment of the Nigerian railways to adequately manage Lagos-Kano rail track. The Minister of Labour and Productivity says the intervention of SURE-P has created a lot of impact in the lives of Nigerians.
Today we witness the impact the proceeds from the removal have made in various aspects of our economy. Our roads have become more motorable. Our women now have better access to maternal child care. Our rail tracks are getting rejuvenated. The East-West Road is nearing completion. The second Niger Bridge is being done. Lagos-Port Road is being done. And people are being trained all over. More employments are coming, and the country is witnessing a huge monumental change under the transformation agenda of the president.
Chairman Board of the Nigerian Railway Corporation, Bamangatopa, opens up on the idea behind the initiative.
To create employment. After you employ, you train. After you train, you engage. When you begin to train, you continue training. We didn't say 1,800 is enough. We are going to train millions, possibly. Not even within the railway system. They are training all over the place. SURE-P is the thing, one of the programs they are having and supporting really.
Chairman of SURE-P, Martin Luther Agwai, assured that there would be more turnaround in the initiative.
I want to assure you that all efforts are in place. Remember that if the railways start functioning, it will generate funds. And once it generates funds, you will need to train. And the more you train, the more proficient you become. Then the railway corridor will be much open, utilization will be higher, the movement of goods and persons will be higher, and there will be more turnaround. So it's going to be sustained, it's quite easily sustainable.
Finally, many who are in doubt as to the sincerity of the federal government to utilize the SURE-P funds to the benefit of the Nigerian populace can now heave a sign of relief, as this is a testimony that the funds will be committed to the development of the country.
Meanwhile, the Subsidy Reinvestment and Empowerment Program SURE-P is set to commit 10 billion naira towards the completion of the Abuja Light Rail project. SURE-P Chairman Martin Luther Agwai disclosed this to newsmen in Abuja after inspecting the project. He says SURE-P's support was to ensure quick completion of the project. The report.
This is what Abuja Light Rail will look like when fully operational next year. This sneak preview was courtesy of SURE-P, which is committing 10 billion naira to the project. The main funding for the $500 million light rail project is from the China Exim Bank. The contractors are also Chinese. The leader of the Nigerian team on ground says the job is more than 50% completed.
What we have here is what we call Lot 1A and 3 of the Abuja Rail Mass Transit System. The system has 6 lots, covering a total length of about 300 kilometers. What we are doing now is about 45 kilometers, 45.245 kilometers.
So when are we expecting completion, if not is meaningful?
By the end of next year, in December 2015.
Having completed the guided tour, the SURE-P chairman was impressed with what he saw. He also disclosed that the intervention fund is committing additional funds to the completion of the light rail project.
Federal government have put in 10 billion naira into this project. As I've stated, our budget, SURE-P budget for 2014 is 268.37 billion. And out of which government have decided
which amount, how much goes to which project, and where in the country. As of today, we have 14 projects that SureP is funding. From that, 268 billion, and out of it, 10 billion is to go for this project you have seen today.
For now, work is on course on a project government officials say will ease transportation woes on Abuja residents. But it remains to be seen if the completion timeline set for the third quarter of 2015 will be met.
Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has released a health and safety code for the newly privatized power sector. The new regulation contains basic provision to prevent hazard arising from installation operation or maintenance of equipment in power plants or supply stations. Speaking at the public presentation of the document, Commission Chairman Sam Amadi says the idea is to entrench a safety culture in Nigeria's electricity supply industry.
I would like to say that it should be understood that the development of an effective and efficient electricity market that will provide safe, adequate, and reliable and affordable electricity to Nigerians is hard work. It therefore requires commitment, competence, doggedness, and focus. The Commission is working hard to ensure that the newly privatized power sector quickly rises up to the challenges of providing adequate, safe, and reliable electricity in Nigeria. A strong and independent regulator is therefore important to ensure the development of an effective and efficient electricity market that will promote economic growth for the country.
Nigeria receives warning to contain the Ebola virus for the country's short-term economic outlook to remain positive. Details of this and more with Bimbo Fagade after this break.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Nigerians continue to
Tonight, the city of Lagos went dark as all routes
Be the first to know from the north, south, east, west and around Africa. We break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are CoreTV News.
Welcome to CoreTV,
a 24-hour news station.
Welcome you to From the Ivory Tower and happenings around the country. Varsity teachers get to air their views. Students are actually not left out. We bring you intellectual ends from the events happening around you. It is dedicated to educating the populace with a spice of entertainment.
From the Ivory Tower, Tuesdays, only on CoreTV News.
And thanks for joining us tonight on Business News. My name is Bimbo Fagade. Nigeria's short-term economic outlook remains positive, but the country must work hard and fast to contain the recent incident of the Ebola virus disease. The African Development Bank, AFDB, says if Ebola spreads and joins with the threat of the Boko Haram insurgency in parts of the north, where most agricultural produce originate, it can cause much additional economic damage. AFDP projects that Nigeria's economic growth could stay robust at over 6% in 2014 and 2015, essentially driven by agriculture, trade and services, but now fears that with the Ebola disease already in Lagos, the country's largest business city, the pandemic could particularly slow trade as already seen in Liberia, Sierra Leone and Guinea, where the scourge is prevalent. President Goodluck Jonathan, however, have approved a special intervention plan and immediate release of 1.9 billion naira to further strengthen ongoing steps to fight the Ebola virus. The food and allied products subsector dominated the $2.97 billion Nigerian non-oil exports in 2013. The Nigeria Export Production Council, headed by Olusegun Awolowo, in a recent release indicated that cocoa and cocoa preparation have continued to dominate the top 10 products exported from Nigeria to different parts of the world. During an interactive session between the NEPC and the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria Export Promotion Group, Awolowo explained that total non-oil exports within the year earnings from cocoa and its preparation amounted to $758.64 million, towards occupying 26% of the total non-oil earnings. The data further revealed the pack to include sheep, goat skin and leather, sesame seed, rubber, tobacco products and milk products. A new gross domestic product GDP series released recently by the National Bureau of Statistics shows an increase in the manufacturing sector GDP contribution to 9% from 6.81% reported earlier in April. President Goodluck Jonathan is scrambling to boost gas supply in the country as shortage of the fuel used to power most manufacturing plants hit companies' costs amid crisis in the sector arising from government policies that seek to control prices. The country's largest company and African biggest producer of the building material says that its first half profit declined 11% as operating costs increased on gas supply challenges, resulting in use of heavy oil for its plants. Group Managing Director Analysis says the government needs to act fast to solve the energy crisis, otherwise it will lead to mass unemployment, skyrocketing prices in the country. Nigeria holds Africa's largest gas reserves of more than 187 trillion cubic feet, but flares most of the gas it produces along with oil because it lacks the infrastructure to process it. At least $3 billion in revenue is lost annually to flaring, according to the Ministry of Petroleum Resources. Nigerian companies have issued a total of 9 bonds worth $3.4 billion in the international capital market, taking advantage of the window opened through the successful issuance of Nigerian sovereign Eurobonds. Making this known through a statement issued in Abuja, the Director General of the Debt Management Office, Ibrahim Wankwo, noted that for the first time in Nigeria's economic history, the private sector have been enabled to access long-term funds from both the domestic and international capital markets. The successful issuance of the 3 Nigerian sovereign Eurobonds in the international capital market have opened the window for Nigerian private sector to raise the required foreign currency funds. According to Wankwo, they are now able to fund long-term real sector projects like agriculture, manufacturing, housing, mineral exploration and process infrastructure for diversified and sustainable economic growth towards employment generation and poverty reduction. And now on stock reports, equity transaction on the Nigeria Stock Exchange ended on a bearish note on Monday. The NSE All-Share depreciated by 9.43 points to close lower at 41,370.43 basis points. Market capitalization dropped to close lower at 13.660 trillion naira. In all, a total of 178 million shares valued at 2.12 billion naira exchanged in 4,484 deals. Report shows that Fort Oil PLC topped the gainers chart, followed by Nigeria Breweries PLC, Ashoka Cement PLC, CCNN PLC, and Stanbic IBTC. On the other hand, Flour Mill PLC led the losers chart, followed by Guinness PLC, UAC Properties PLC, Orlando PLC, and Fortis Microfinance Bank PLC. Meanwhile, here are the top 5 trades. And that's it on Business News tonight. My name is Bimbo Fagade, and Branson Wana is on standby to give you updates on sports.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Our style, that's what he delivered. Usain Bolt storming, Puyol with a flying lead.
Though taking them out in the lead and really.
A very big thanks for joining us on Sport News tonight. I am Brownson Wana. The impeached president of the Nigerian Football Federation has on Monday resumed the glass house. This was in aftermath of the directive from the World Soccer governing body FIFA. Speaking to CoreTV News shortly after reclaiming his seat, Megari described allegations that led to his ouster as baseless and unfounded. He also maintained that he had at no point resigned from his office, as purportedly reported by the media.
I don't have in any way no connection whatsoever with financing of the Federation. No money goes to my account. I don't receive money from anybody. If anybody sponsors, government or whoever is bringing money, sometimes I don't even know because it's not my business. But I'm happy I'm back to my colleagues. I'm happy I'm back to the family. I'm happy I'm back to my friends and the entire football family. So what I want to urge and say, you know, not just to the board members, but the entire football fraternity. Football is a teamwork. It's a team event. It involves everybody. So let us continuously put things right. Let us be seen working together. Let us have this unity.
Head coach of the Nigerian 20 women team, Peter Dedevo, says he's excited at recording a quarter-final victory at the World Cup after the Falconets had a 4-1 win over New Zealand on Sunday. Dedevo, who led the Under-17 women national team twice to the Women's Under-17 World Cup in Azerbaijan in 2012, crashed out of the quarter-final on both times, defeated by Korea Republic and France respectively. The Falconets gaffer has assured Nigerians that his team will come out hugely motivated to win the semi-finals against Korea. He appealed to Nigerians to sustain their prayers and support, just as he vowed they will do Nigeria proud in Canada. And away from that, to the world of tennis, US Open defending champion Rafael Nadal has withdrawn from the US Open with an injury to his right wrist. The world number 2 suffered the injury in training on July 29 and missed 2 warm-up tournaments in Toronto and the Cincinnati. The 28-year-old hoped to recover before the 25th of August when the US Open gets underway at Flushing Meadows. The Spaniard beat Serbia's Novak Djokovic 6-2, 3-6, 6-4, 6-1 to win last year's title in Flushing Meadows. Finally on Sport News tonight, to the world of athletics, where Olympic champions and world record holder Usain Bolt won his first 100 meter of 2014 in an exhibition race in Rio Copacabana Beach 2 years before the 2016 Olympic Games. The Jamaican superstar won in a time of 10.6 seconds, although Bolt has predicted a sub-second time when he faced the press. Britain's Mark Lewis Francis came second with 10.42 seconds, and Jefferson Libertadores of Brazil had a 10.46 second to share the podium with Bolt, who after an injury-hit season was running his first 100 meters since Brussels in September last year, when he won in 9.08 seconds. The 27-year-old Bolt will compete in his final Olympic in Rio in 2016 before calling time to his career in 2017 after the World Championship. And that's my final whistle on Sport News tonight. My name is Brownson Wana. Very big thanks for watching.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
And now to other stories outside Nigeria. Ukraine has accused pro-Russian rebels of attacking a convoy of fleeing refugees from the city of Lugansk with rocket launchers and mortar guns. Andriy Lazensko, spokesperson of the Ukrainian Council of National Security and Defense, says the pro-Russian rebels shot at the convoy, which includes women and children, killing many civilians. He accused pro-Russian rebels in eastern Ukraine of killing many civilians trying to leave a conflict-torn area by shelling them with equipment such as ground rocket launchers and mortars provided by Moscow. French police say heavily armed robbers mounted a brazen attack on the motorcade of a Saudi prince in Paris, making off with 250,000 euros in cash and stealing diplomatic papers. The spectacular robbery, which according to the police took place in northern Paris as the motorcade was making its way from a luxury hotel on the Champs-Élysées to an airport in Le Bourget. The police also confirmed that there were no injuries after the robbery, which had between 5 and 8 thieves in 2 BMW who hijacked the first of around 10 vehicles in the convoy, driving off with the 3 occupants before letting them go. The police also say the men were armed with Kalashnikov rifles and handguns. The Saudi Mercedes and one of the thieves' BMW were later found abandoned and burnt out in the village of Saint-Mémé to the northeast of Paris. The police also found 2 500-euro notes, documents in Arabic and medication near the burnt-out cars. The Saudi embassy in Paris, in a statement, say the vehicle was not an embassy car, while the French Foreign Ministry spokesman Romain Nadal says investigation is on into the attack, which it termed as unacceptable. And this is where we draw the curtains for tonight's show. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Ebulomo Adekunle. Have a pleasant night rest.